Boo! Only joking, but what is a horror film? Well, let me show you as I count down my top 4 scariest films to watch on Prime Video. Up first, it's Vashinik, a film about a lovely little dad who gets asked to look after an enchanted hotel, but when his naughty little son starts scribbling on the walls, Daddy throws a wobbly. Jack Nicholson plays a dad called Jack, Danny Lloyd plays a boy called Danny, and Shelley Duvall gets a chance to show off her amazing acting skills by playing somebody called Wendy.
I'm very confused.
They arrive at the hotel to meet an arrogant ventriloquist.
My grandmother and I could hold conversations entirely without ever opening our mouths.
He encourages Danny to take up the hobby for himself, but after hours of practice using his finger as a dummy, Danny realises he's not cut out for it. However, not wanting to crush his dreams entirely, his mum offers to use him as a ventriloquist doll instead. This quite frankly embarrassing carry-on understandably drives his dad bonkers, not helped by the fact that several people are staying in the hotel without paying for their rooms, like the 2 little girls and good old Splitface. Jack then goes full-on doolally, starts trying to scare a table, and even starts to think his name is John. The isolation of living alone in the mountains for so long makes the others go completely dotty too, with the mum wearing a jumper under a button shirt, and Danny turning down the chance to play with 2 girls from the year above.
Come and play with us, Daddy.
Yes, there's a few scary bits, but there's plenty of light relief, with the silly dog character kissing his friend's lap for some reason, and a pretty lady playing a prank on Jack by giving him a kiss, then turning into a goblin. It was directed by Mr. Chocolate Orange himself, Stanley Kubrick, who people think is such a genius that all the mistakes in the film were put in deliberately to freak us out even more, such as this chair magically disappearing between shots, or a 5-star hotel having no toilet paper. He also uses colour in a very symbolic way. It's why Jack has a red jacket, because red is the colour of love, symbolising that he loves being angry. A truly brilliant film. The subject matter really stays with you afterwards, and it remains the best example in film history of how embarrassing dads can be on holiday. Up next, a film about one of the biggest sickos in the whole of America. That's right, it's American Sicko. It's a film about a hairless restaurant critic who is so angry about how long it takes him to get ready in the morning that he starts listening to Huey Lewis. Set in the glamorous 1987s, it tells the story of Patrick Batman, who is so desperate to make people like him, he becomes obsessed with exercising, cleaning his teeth. He even pays people to come for a sleepover.
You want to come to my apartment or not?
He clearly means well. He tries to get his girlfriend to quit smoking and gets very upset when his other girlfriend starts playing knock and run. But we soon start to see his darker side. Clearly embarrassed that he's so bad at drawing and naturally jealous of the greatest hairstyle in movie history, yes, he turns into the American Sicko who starts swearing his head off and absolutely murdering people he's only just met. The film was far scarier than the book it was based on, mainly because books don't make any noise, so can't make you jump. But the message was the same, that sometimes people just aren't what they seem. Here's a man obsessed with good food, exercise and physical appearance. We go back to his flat and he hasn't got a single vegetable in his fridge. This cautionary tale of the dangers of giving a rich man some confidence was a huge success, and the sequel, American Sicko 2, was so good that they rushed it straight to DVD. Up next, a film that proves the 90s was so boring without the internet that people would go unarmed into the woods for a weekend in the hope of finding a known murderer. That's right, it's the Blair Witch Project, where 3 amateur filmmakers go looking for a local child-killing witch, who actually turns out to be lovely. After one of them goes missing, the witch tries to cheer up the others by leaving them a nice present of some meat wrapped in their friend's shirt. But the arrogant teenagers don't want to be friends, and even make fun of her woodwork.
That's f***ing creepy.
The witch, however, keeps up her good humour and can even be heard making some children laugh in the middle of the night. Eventually, these evil students see the errors of their ways in one of the most memorable final scenes in horror history. When they finally get to the witch's house, Mike realises he's been a bit rude throughout and takes himself off to the naughty corner. Heather agrees and finally decides to put down the camera and concentrate on what really matters, which is making friends. This brilliant film, known for some of the most gruesome scenes in movie history, went on to make millions and millions of money, partly because it was so cheap to make. They used rubbish cameras, this one didn't even have a colour mode, and they hardly had to pay the actors anything because they all got a free camping holiday.
I'm very scared and I just want to go home, okay?
Despite some obvious mistakes, like forgetting to put any music in it at all, it was hugely influential and went on to inspire such films as Paranormal Activity and Blair Witch 2. Now, we all know that horror films have to be set at night time, but this next one was so scary, the actors asked if they could film it during the day. It is, of course, Midsommar, a film about some students who go to an unusual festival in the middle of nowhere, only to find out that this inbred bear-worshipping drugs cult might not be all that it seems. The plot follows a girl whose boyfriend wants to break up with her because she's addicted to crying. In fact, it's got so bad that some of the cult girls start taking the mick out of her. But on the surface, these cult members are lovely. They're all dressed as a posh vase for some reason, and they're so fond of parties that when one party pooper tries to leave early, they give him a bit of a ticking off by taking out his ribs. But it's not all fun and games. And the film goes on to explore themes of grief, toxic relationships, and the dangers of not checking TripAdvisor. It's great, and despite accidentally spoiling the plot by showing you the entire storyboard at the beginning, Midsommar was an instant hit and even influenced some of the imagery in The Shining. With beautiful cinematography and a couple of chilling nods to Bill and Ben the Flower Pot Men, Midsommar takes you on a completely different journey to your normal horror film, where instead of killers just jumping out and giving you a quick fight, it psychologically ruins you for life. So there we have it, and with Halloween hiding just around the corner, what better time to sit down with a pumpkin sandwich, pop on a spooky banger and ruin your brain. Scary bye bye!